For the last several months, we've been recording doorstep deliveries. Many videos show small items in oversized boxes. Well, Ellen, you could be putting yourself and others at risk with an inaccurate result, or you may be spending money on a COVID-19 test that never arrives. The I-Team is finding out how to spot a fake before you buy. Rob, the fallout from the Russian invasion into Ukraine is causing a ripple effect of problems. In the U.S. and here in the Chicago area, experts are expecting sky-high flight costs.
Mr. Liska, Jason Knowles from the ABC7 I-Team. We want to ask you about the home repair fraud charge. What do you want to say to people who say that you didn't do the work?
Most people probably don't know that these need to be checked.
Yes, so actually the vent need to be checked.
If your car is stolen and the thief gets a red light camera ticket, should you pay the bill? The I-Team has been investigating mail delays for more than 15 years, and in recent weeks we've received a growing number of complaints about missing and stolen mail. Did the box have to be that big?
Probably not. I think there's probably going to be a lot of right sizing that you see happen over the next several years.
You may have heard that the IRS is expected to be late getting out tax refunds again this year, but that could work in your favor. Does more need to be done to regulate non-standard auto insurers? Cryptocurrency is growing in popularity, and so are the scams. The Federal Trade Commission says in the U.S. there were more than $451 million in losses for most of 2021.
Yeah, Cheryl, you know, it really was shocking even for me, and I feel like I've seen everything, I have heard everything, but this really was frightening, and it is frightening for a lot of people. Whether you use an online-only bank or a traditional one, your accounts can be vulnerable. The Federal Trade Commission says there were more than 33,000 bank fraud reports last year. Our I-Team data investigation found that 3 times as many speed camera tickets have been issued so far this year compared to last year. So what happened? When city officials reduced the speed that triggers a violation, there was a speed camera spike.
You've gotten 6 speed camera tickets.
Yes, I mean, it literally, just to go to my neighborhood grocery store, I have to go through like 4 speed camera zones.
Carla Paget is racking up speed camera tickets. So are thousands of others. More than 1 million speed camera tickets have been issued so far this year. That's more than triple the number of tickets issued for the same time period last year. The reason? In March, Chicago's law changed. Now drivers are ticketed for going just 6 miles per hour over the speed limit. Drivers used to only get speed camera fines if they were going 10 miles per hour over the speed limit.
Who doesn't drive 6 to 10 miles over an hour?
One of Paget's violations was here on the 500 block of East Morgan Drive. This camera has issued the most tickets in the city so far this year, almost 50,000. Sean Gowder got 2 tickets at the 800 block of East 71st Street.
That's something I think is more feasible, 10 miles or more, but 6 miles is really not that much over.
Daily Donnellan got her citations on the north side.
I think it's a cash grab. I think it's just 6 to 10 miles over. Would I get pulled over by a police officer for that? I don't believe so.
The ABC7 data team analyzed speed camera tickets issued since the law changed in March. We found that from March through September, city cameras issued more than 505,000 warnings to drivers. Those are handed out to first-time offenders or to people who violated a camera within the first 30 days of its installation. In all, the city issued 1,027,414 tickets with fines. Almost 870,000 of those tickets were for going 6 to 10 miles per hour over the speed limit. That's 84% of all tickets.
It's not about public safety. It's all about a money grab.
9th Ward Alderman Anthony Beal introduced an ordinance to go back to the original law, only ticketing drivers going 10 miles per hour over the speed limit. He also questions the placement of the cameras.
One of the big placements where you should have these cameras is put them on Lakeshore Drive. There's a lot of speeding going on our expressways.
Right now, the 162 cameras are spread throughout the city. They're only by parks, enforced during park hours, and by school zones, enforced 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. on school days.
I think it's good in some ways, and some ways it's not. I live on this corner, And I think it stops people from running into my yard because they slow down.
City officials declined an on-camera interview, but say safety studies justify the use and placement of speed cameras. They say there's been a reduction in crashes near speed cameras, but they have not studied the impact of the new speed reduction rule.
I think it's a serious overreach whenever you're charging citizens, especially during this pandemic time. A lot of people don't have money, don't have a job.
The I-Team also found that the number of tickets for people driving 10 miles per hour over the speed limit has actually dropped. 70,000 fewer of those tickets have been issued this year when compared to the same time last year. That may show that overall, drivers are slowing down. Jason Knowles, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
You know, tax refunds, we all want them. We all need them. They are so important to so many people, those refunds. Hopefully you already got yours if you did file early. I know many people did not file early. Some people have not filed yet. That's why we're doing this story, because it's very timely and people are either waiting for the refund or maybe they have not filed yet. You know, how are these scammers getting your tax refund? Well, first, they're getting your personal information. You guessed it. And they are doing this by getting your social security number, getting your date of birth, getting your name, getting your address. And one way they get all this information is from you. There are several ways they can do it, and they can get information. I mean, even as low tech as dumpster diving. But what we're hearing from experts is that they're really getting it now from phishing texts and phishing emails. So what they do is they send you a text or they send you an email, and it looks like the link is from the IRS, or it looks like the link is from another government agency, and they're saying, hey, put your social security number in here, put in your tax ID, put in your information. You need to do this, because if you don't do this, something bad will happen, or we'll come after you for money, or you know, you really have to do this, or they may say the police will come after you. So bottom line is this: government agencies are not going to be sending you emails and texts, and they're not going to be sending you links asking for you to put in any information at all. So that is the biggest warning. The other way they're doing this is they're going back to those traditional phone calls. They may pick up the phone and say, hey, I need your social security number. I'm from the IRS. I am an IRS agent. I need your social security number right now, or else. If anyone calls you like that, hang up the phone. This is also kind of tied into another phone scam which we've reported extensively on, where people pretend to be IRS agents and they say, I'm an IRS agent and you need to pay us right now, and if you don't pay us, we're going to be sending sheriff's deputies to your doorstep. Of course, as we know, the IRS never calls you to demand immediate payment.
And that's scary when you get a call like that, and especially for elderly folks or people who live alone. You hear that and your gut reaction may be, okay, here it is. And what can people do to protect themselves? There are a lot of things that you recommend. Tell us about a few of them and how people can protect themselves.
Yeah, well, tonight at 10, we're going to be talking about all the different ways you can protect yourself to make sure that you get your tax refund and a crook does not get your tax refund. The first thing you could do is reach out to your cell phone provider. So many of these cell phone providers now are blocking a lot of these calls. They're maybe in some cases even blocking text, but they have software. It's so high tech, they're able to actually see many of these numbers that people never pick up, and then they can block those numbers automatically. Some of these you may already be enrolled in with your cell phone provider, and you may not even know it, but you're going to want to check with your cell phone provider to see, because some things you really have to opt into. The other thing is watch out for spoofed calls, and we've reported on spoofed calls a lot too. And this is when the number itself that calls you looks like it's coming from the IRS. It may say IRS, but it's not the IRS. And in a new scam, what they're doing is the first 6 digits of the number may look similar to your number, or the entire number could look like your number. And what this does is it throws people off, and they're more likely to answer. And it's a kind of a psychological thing where you pick up the phone because you think it's legitimate because it looks like your number. So that's another warning. But bottom line is, you know, don't click on these emails. Don't click on these texts, and just don't give up your personal information. I know it sounds kind of obvious, but you know, a lot of people, like you said, Rob, they're put in these situations where they're scared and they think it's legitimate, and they're giving up that information, and then the scammers get your refund. Yeah. It's everywhere. If you look at the Super Bowl ads, you look at social media, it's cryptocurrency. I have to admit, I haven't done it yet. I've been looking into it a little bit, but you know, to me it is a little bit scary, and there are warnings. So besides the whole, angle about whether or not you should invest in it or not, of course we know that people have been talking about how it's not regulated by the government. There's also the angle of the scams, and there's two separate scams that we're going to be focusing on tonight. The first scam is people that are on social media. There's people everywhere on social media platforms, dating apps. They're trying to help you invest. You may have seen some of these messages, seen some of these ads. They may say that they can guide you or give you some kind of financial advice. And you see there, the Homeland Security folks are giving us this warning tonight. And they could first get you to invest in a legitimate platform. The two victims that we talked to tonight were first told that they could invest in legitimate platforms, and the scammers gained their trust by getting them to go into these legitimate platforms. And then in the one case, one man was told, okay, now that you have put the money into the legitimate platform, you can move it over into this other platform. And you can make a lot of money. And at first he actually did make more money. And so he thought he really made a good choice. But then he went to go take that money out or cash in. And guess what? The money was gone. The website was down. And he's out of luck. And at 10 o'clock tonight, we're going to tell you more about what he had to do to potentially recover that money. But these sites can come and go. Again, it's unregulated. So there are a lot of warnings out there. And then the second warning we're going to talk about is just fake websites in general. So you could go to one of these websites and it looks real, but it's not. It's a cloned website. So you have to look for that. I know we say this all the time. Look for that HTTPS. That's one way to tell if the website is real. You should also look for misspellings and just do general research on the website of the company. If you Google the name of the company and put in ripoff or scam, many times online you can see if it's a ripoff or a scam.
So Jason, of course, we all know what they are. We watch the Super Bowl ads, and you are researching this project. But what is it? Why should people invest? And if they do invest, how can they protect themselves?
Yeah, I really just say research this quite a bit. I would talk to friends who have already invested in this and see where they have had luck. There's several things. Of course, there's the scams, and then the other angle is, should I even put my money in it at all? But I would say if anyone at all reaches out to you, that is a huge red flag. I mean, you should really just, in my opinion, you should ignore them if they reach out to you, because you don't need them, especially if it's a stranger or someone online saying that they can make money for you, or if it sounds too good to be true, or to move it over to another platform. Those are all big warning signs. The best thing you should do is research yourself online. You should talk to a friend who has had good luck with this, and then again, research these websites online and do the simple searches. Put in the name of the company and scam, and then look at those websites closely. And we're going to have more tips for you at 10 o'clock about cryptocurrency. I don't know if either of you have done it yet.
Well, Jason, your crypto investors are all around you in the newsroom.
Yeah.
You just have to,
you've had luck.
You've got to find them.